Hello and welcome back, guys. This is going to be the first tutorial about how to create your own tactic. I did the how you can create tactic in the previous version of PES, but now it's a little bit different and we have lots of more options. So we are going to have in the same video part 1 and part 2, because the part 1 is going to be about how to create tactic with match authenticated teams, and in part 2 is going to be with the dream team as well. So first we're going to start with the original teams, and as you can see the menu is exactly the same like it was, and you just press the X button on the player and you move around him where you want. So that is how you can develop your own set of abilities and tactics, but you can also change the formation and pick the pre-existing ones and then move around what you like. So we have quite an enormous number of formation that we can use as well. So team style is again the same: possession style, quick counter, long ball counter, out wide, and long ball. For right now, quick counter and long ball counter are the dominant tactics in the online whatever you play, either dream team or original teams. In the events, quick counter and long ball, that's my advice. Try to create something with them. We're going to come up with the individual instructions, and for the attack we have defensive that you can put on the player, who is going to be much more defensive wise and oriented than your other players. Also you have ability to make a player offensive as well, and you cannot use the forwards for that, or the if you have wingers as well, you cannot use that instruction on them as well. So okay, anchoring, well, all you know is that he can go just vertical, not horizontal, and well, it's good example to have it on the center midfielder or defensive midfielder, so he can march vertical all around the pitch, and that with that you have him created to be a box-to-box midfielder. So basically, if you don't have box-to-box midfielder, use anchoring and you will have with him that ability, and he's going to perform it like that. He's not going to roam around on the sides, and that's the offensive side of tactic. And we have two options to put, so you can choose two players to have that as well. On the defensive side, you can use tight marking, and you just press the player that you want to have that, and he's going to mark the player next to him and virtually be a flaster to him, and glued to him, to be honest. And that's how you can use that. Man marking, you can, well, say who you want to man mark particularly, like that as well, and on which player you want to have that. Type marking you can use only on one player, but man marking, you basically mark players to guard a certain player and not move from him, to be honest. So it's like the man marking from the previous PES, but you can set on every player man marking. Right now you can only do it twice, so it's a downside, but okay, you can use it. And also there is a counter target option. That's for you to preserve your stamina with your attackers or wingers. I use it all the time. And deep line is that you want to have like false 9 or something like that, so he can come up to get that ball, and then you have wingers who run behind defenders on the side. But for me, advice is to use, if you're playing with one center striker, you use that to cover up and draw his defense, move forward, and use it like that. So basically a false 9 option is a deep line instruction. Later on we have sub-tactic, and that's the secondary tactic that you can use as well. For it mimics the original tactic with the formation, but you can change the position of the player. You can put them anywhere you want on the pitch. Team style as well, so that is why I said use quick counter and long ball, and you can switch it during the match itself. And for me particularly, I think that those two tactics are the OP ones right now. Again, you can set the individual instruction even for the second tactic, and that's it when it comes to creating the tactics and everything. Lineup, basically you press the player and switch him around. Team, auto pick players, it has the default options. In match roles, this is now that we have option to set players to join the attack again when the set pieces are on. Who's going to take your penalty, who's going to be your right corner kick taker, who's going to be your left corner kick taker, who's going to be secondary free kick taker, short free kick taker and long free kick taker, and obviously captain. Also, a bit of advice: use captains on the player who has captaincy, then your team doesn't lose stamina that quickly. Automatic match support is, well, you know, flexible very early, very late, and you can set the players to get the substitutions. Offside traps, I use this on off because I don't play with offside traps, but if you want to play it, just tap and it's on. Attack and defense level, that means that when you are in the attack you will have one formation, and when you are in defense you will have another formation. That's also if you want to do that, but I don't use that. And change present tactic during the matches. It will switch between main, offensive and sub-defensive as necessary, depending on the match situation. So as it says, this is during the match, and this is during, again, so basically your team is automatically switching the formation on the style that you play. And one new thing that they come up, now we can save up to 10 tactics, and that's nice to have as well, because there are a lot of events, and this is only for the original teams and it's not for the rest of the game. So basically everything that we right now saw is how you can create a tactic with the original teams. Now the part is going to be about when you go to play against Dream Team. It's similar, but there is a little bit of finesse that you want to take care of as well. So for the Dream Team guys, you need to go into the game plan, and then you need to sign the manager in what tactic do you want to prefer to play. The menu is a little bit different, as you can see. It's not the same, but the principle is basically the same. You go to the team, you can have auto pick players. In match roles is almost the same as in the original team play. Automatic match support is also the same. Edit squad number. This time you can change your number of the players, and that's a good stuff to have. Where you have the players who are substitutes and you have reserves, and from the reserves you change players into substitutes and vice versa, or indirect match. My advice for you is to have players who have basically this here. Where is it? Where it comes to the form. Yeah, form unwavering. Standard means 50-50 chances. Well, not 50-50, but something similar to that. Unwavering is like the old form, 6 and above, and standard is 5 and below that. so I would I would advise you, sorry, I would advise you to have the players who have unwavering form, because with the standard form, sometimes they can usually be um, out of the form as well. But the good thing is when you have the players who have unwavering form, and well, they can have almost every time the high results. Well, for instance, Davis is A, and he's not going to be below 4. But Foden is C. That means sometimes he's going to be out of form and totally out of form, or semi out of form. But yeah, B and A also is the players that you want to have in the squad when it comes to the form, when you want to build the team. So when you go to the tactics, you can change manager. Obviously, it's easy, but okay. Change formation, again, it's the same as you have from there. Team style play, now this is different. In the original teams, you can have whatever you want. In Dream Team, your manager needs to be capable on the tactics, and also needs to have high stat of it, so your players can easily transition to team style play level. And also that you train manually on each player as well. You cannot train the manager, you train players right now. So I have Nagelsmann because he works with youngsters, and my team is going to be comprised of youngsters, probably, and later on in the stages when they introduce more players, young players and everything, and more events. And he can play quick counter and long ball counter and out wide formation and even possession style of football. And also when you sign players, try to sign players that can already have that, or yeah, that can already have the big number of training on a certain tactic style, because if you have a player who has 55 and he's, I don't know, you can max him out in a couple of levels, and you play quick counter and he's 55, he's not good for you. He's not good for you. You cannot train him that much. You will waste the experience points to train him to be on this tactical style, but then that's a big problem. So basically, try to sign players. That's my advice. Try to sign players who can play your tactics. I played quick counter and long ball, and that is how I sign players when I have the contracts. And well, on the spinning, it depends on the luck what you are going to get. But yes, try to sign players who can already play your formations, and it's going to be easier for you to do it. Individual success are the same as on the original teams, and sub tactic is also the same as the original team. As you can see, Nagelsmann's sub tactic is 60, and I've leveled my players to have 85, and 85 is pretty decent to have for the secondary tactic. Everything above 80 is a decent starting point to play in the matches. I played 85 level against 100 level, and I demolished them, because it's merely a cosmetic, but everything below 70 is problematic. But I had matches on my live stream, you can check it, the link for my Twitch is going to be down below. You will see that I also struggled against 67 tactic style and 69 tactic style, but not struggled that he was dominant. I struggled with conversion rate. I don't know if it's a script from Konami or what it is. You can call it whatever you want. The opponent had 3 chances, he scored 3 goals. I had 20 chances, I scored 4 goals. I won the match, but was pain in the ass. So that's how you create tactics, and that's how you develop them. If you're liking this kind of videos, be sure to subscribe, and also hit that like button so more people can reach this and they can try and develop their own tactics, and also help to improve their game as well. And yeah, basically, we are now in the control of every aspect of football: how to develop player, how to develop tactics, what tactics can we use, how to combine them. There are a lot of variables. You need to experiment what suits for you. For me personally, I like fast direct football. Quick counter and long ball quick counter are my go-to tactics. If you like possession style of play, search for the manager who has high possession style of football, also players who have high possession style of football in their stats, and you will be good. But if you fail to sign good manager and you fail to sign a good player that can play on that position, that's a big problem. So research, guys, be patient, be thorough, and don't rush into any things, and you will enjoy this game. If you rush, then you're going to hate it. So guys, once again, see you on the next video. The next video I think is going to be about what managers you should sign and what manager is good for every position, well, every tactical style. And also there are going to be another sets of tutorials later on as well. So again, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye, guys.